But among collectors, a whisper begins. A rumor about a particular batch of 2013 5 groszy coins, something not quite right, or something uniquely rare. Some say it was a misprint. Maybe the edge was slightly off, or the lettering imperfect. Others insist there is a variation so subtle that only numismatists with sharp eyes and steady hands can recognize it. A line in the design may differ, a serif on a letter slightly elongated, the wreath's leaf pattern subtly irregular. For decades, the assumption was that all coins of that year were identical. But then one collector spotted something. Under magnification, certain specimens had a different surface finish, a variation in the relief where the eagle's feathers cast shadows differently under light. The story spread through coin forums and collector circles. One person claimed that while most 2013 5 groszy coins showed a bright, even sheen, a few bore a matte finish, almost satin, and their edges seemed crisper as though struck with greater force. Another claimed that in these rare coins, the numeral 5 had serifs that curled differently at the tips, or that the wreath leaves near the bottom appeared slightly broader. Some thought these were factory test strikes. Others believed they were part of a secret limited run, perhaps for quality testing, or maybe prototypes for a new design that never saw official acknowledgement. Whatever the truth, conjecture alone was enough to stoke interest. Catalogs began listing these variations. Auctions recorded bids rising steeply. A coin with the matte finish and crisp edge sold for hundreds of dollars where regular ones sold for cents. For many years, the market paid little attention. In pockets and coin rolls, they circulated like any normal small change. But now collectors searched coin shops, changed drawers, and collections to find one of the rare versions. Every time one turned up, excitement erupted. Images were shared online, comparisons made, experts examined mint records, trying to find confirmation. Speculation multiplied. Some asserted these variations were caused by a worn or damaged die, others by a miscalibrated planchet or a variation in metal alloy mixture. Others believed it was simply a rare strike during a period of low production or quality control anomalies. Yet official mint records have remained silent or vague. No press release confirmed a special edition or test strike. No certificate declared it rare. All that remains are coins, testimonies, and a growing belief among experts that certain 2013 5 groszy coins are far more valuable than their face value suggests. The desire to own one has driven competition. Collectors once content with getting complete sets of Polish coins now scour flea markets, secondhand dealers, and private sales. Online auction sites have seen listings where sellers show close-up photos under magnification, comparing edges, surfaces, letter shapes. Often two coins side by side, one the common type, the other that rare variant. People debate which one is genuine, which one exhibits signs of polishing or damage, or which one might be a counterfeit trying to mimic the rare specimens. The media occasionally pick up the story. Journalists write about Poland's little coin with a big secret, or how 5 groszy became collector gold. Documentaries interview numismatists who recount the moment they first noticed a coin whose glow seemed off, whose detail seemed sharper, whose weight or thickness felt just a whisper different. They describe holding one in hand, then another, knowing something is different even before they set the magnifier down. That sense of discovery, of finding the imperfect gem that reveals itself slowly, is what draws people in. Most of all, value has shifted. A coin that in ordinary use would buy a piece of candy now commands sums unimaginable. Collectors trust provenance. They want coins that come with story and comparison. The coin itself remains small, humble, precious for its scarcity, for the mystery in its detail, for the thrill of uncovering something in plain sight that was hiding in cloth, in couch cushions, in ashtrays, or pocket change. It was a simple piece of metal that passed through countless pockets, hand to hand, over decades. A coin no larger than a thumb, with familiar designs. One side the profile of Queen Elizabeth II, the other side the echidna curled into its defensive pose. Every feature was known, every curve expected. The date 1995 stamped clearly. On its face value, it was nothing more than 5 cents of Australian money. But this particular coin would come to represent something far beyond simple value. In 1995, the Royal Australian Mint struck around 85 million of these coins. They were copper-nickel, weighed about 2.83 grams, 19.41 millimeters in diameter, with milled edges. The obverse carried the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, her royal diadem, earrings, the designer's initials RDM subtly incised. On the flip side, the echidna, designed by Stuart Devlin. Its little spines, tiny claws, fine detail, and beneath its belly the initials SD, almost unnoticed unless one knows what to look for. The coin had standard circulation use. For most it was everyday change to be spent, misplaced, mashed in purses, scraped off shoes. Over time, some of those 85 million became scratched, worn down, dulled by handling, by the elements, by time. Others retained surprising clarity. A crisp rim, sharp detail in the echidna's spines, the portrait still clean. Condition matters. Collector circles talk in terms like mint state, proof, uncirculated. They scrutinize every inch. Even small flaws become fascination. A tiny nick, a faint double strike, misaligned die, weak strike in one area. Some of those anomalies make a coin more than change. They make it rare. The rarity of an object isn't always about how few exist. It's about which ones remain in condition that defies wear. How many of the 85 million still bear sharp detail, strong edges, minimal corrosion? How many were saved instead of spent? How many found homes in collections where they were polished, protected, admired? Many were lost to everyday life. A few escaped that fate. Collectors note that this 1995 issue is common in general circulation. It is designated common in rarity by numismatic catalogs. Most examples are worth modest amounts. In worn condition, value hovers near its face, or perhaps $1 or $2 more. In very fine condition, more uncirculated ones command better premiums. But even the best, under normal circumstances, have never sold for anything wildly extraordinary in the market. The standard market value ranges between about $1 and $3 depending on condition. Something truly exceptional must be involved for jump-ups. What could make one of these coins go from ordinary to legendary? Condition, absolutely. But also provenance, uniqueness. A proof set version, an error coin, a specimen with a known flaw, or coins that come from extremely limited runs or mint sets. Coins that escaped circulation wholly, that were preserved in perfect condition, are always more desirable. Collectors will pay more for that purity. And sometimes myths grow. Stories of coins found in old safes, or collections that have been forgotten for decades, or specimens with some unusual pattern, or a misprint, or a pair with odd variations. Imagining one of these 1995 coins in a rare, perfect proof state, preserved since 1995, perhaps never handled, with every detail still razor sharp, free from oxidation or damage. Imagine a version with an error so subtle that only the most expert eyes notice it, yet so rare that only one or two are known. Such a specimen becomes more than metal. It becomes a story. It becomes a trophy. It becomes irresistible to collectors.